Hey folks, I am Becky with Enduring Finances. Welcome to my channel. Today we are taking a look at the budget breakdown and net worth update for myself for the month of May of 2023. Just some basics about me. I am 30 years old. I have a dog, Jackson, who is adorable. I own my own home. I have a positive net worth of over $250,000. The only debt that I do have is my mortgage. And I work a part-time job in the mornings and do some side hustles around that while I am working on building up my photography business as nature and landscape and hopefully wildlife. So that is a sum about me. Let's go ahead and start off with taking a look at the goals that I had set for myself for the month of May. So the first thing I wanted to do was 3 full body workouts a week. Unfortunately, I did not accomplish this because at the very beginning of the month, I had a friend that had an emergency situation and ended up moving in temporarily with all of their things, and that blocked my gym, and I was not able to work out the entire week that they were staying at my house, which is frustrating. So that did not happen. And one bad thing happened is my truck broke down. The front axle, something about the ball bearings, not exactly sure happened, and it messed up the brakes, and so I ended up having to pay over $700 to repair my truck and get it back up and running. And so I did not save $500 for an AC unit. So we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. And then I did not go on a one-day photography trip that I have been putting off and wanting to do. Mainly because, 1, my truck broke down, 2, my friend was here, and 3, my budget became incredibly tight when my truck broke down. And so the priority then became, what do I need to do in order to be able to accomplish what I want to, and the trip fell to the bottom of that. I did, however, transplant the seeds that I had started in my greenhouse to my garden, and that is now in full growth mode, and it is looking beautiful, and I'm expecting to have a healthy harvest. It's a little tight, but we got them all in there. And I did manage to continue to meal prep. It's a very vague goal, so I continue to meal prep every single week. It is working very, very well for me. And I'm still focusing on eating that 135 to 140 grams of protein a day. So we did 3 of the 6 goals that I had for May, but I mean, you gotta roll the punches, and that's exactly what I did. So let's go ahead and take a look at the goals that I have for June. Again, we're going back to those 3 workouts a day. A day. I'm gonna do 3 workouts a day. 3 full body workouts a week. Right now, what's fitting in really well is if I do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, full workout, and I just rotate between 2 full body workouts that I have set up that hit everything, just a little variance in that, and I'm going to hit that for the entire month of June. I'm going to save $200 for my trip up to Washington that I am taking. This was a little bit of a change up on what was going to happen. A friend that I met, a friend from college, is graduating from veterinarian school and is having a party and a celebration in Washington, and I invited, and so I am going. It is cheaper for me to drive there. It's about $200 in gas. Plane ticket was about $270. So I'm going to drive up, spend a weekend there, visit a friend in Seattle, and then come on back. I also am going to try and go on a one night trip here with Jackson in the month of June before I go to Washington. Ultimate goal is to not kill my garden. I think I've got it. We're going really good. Everything is looking really well, but with my luck, I could easily kill all the plants that I worked so hard to keep. I'm going to continue to meal prep every week. When things got really hectic last month, that was a game changer for me because I had food prepped. I knew exactly what I was going to eat and what I needed to buy, and when time got tight, I could go back to, okay, what do I have that I can eat quickly that's going to meet my needs so I don't starve and break into a bad eating cycle again. So that has worked really well for me, and I'm continuing to try and eat 135 to 140 grams of protein per day to maintain muscle mass as I try and lose fat. But those are my goals for the month of June. Alright, so let's go ahead and transition and take a look at my budget breakdown, starting with my personal expenses. So top of the line, we can see that we had an adjustment here with my mortgage. So I have my standard mortgage payment, which is the principal and the interest for my loan for my house. And then added into this mortgage payment that I make in a lump payment is my house insurance and my escrow, which covers the insurance for my taxes. And they adjusted my escrow for my taxes by almost $80. And so I jumped up on the amount that I'm paying every month for my house to $1,305 a month. So quite a big jump there. Went ahead and paid that. We did my car insurance again for $51.60. My bi-monthly trash payment of $44.94. We saw a little bit increase there. I didn't have to pay my sewer this month. Internet is split between business and personal expenses, so $9.60 for personal expenses with that. For my water, I didn't owe anything this month. I paid $139.47 in electrical. And then as far as groceries, we can go ahead and take a look at the breakdown that I have here. We did 5 different trips. Some of them were a little bit smaller than the others, leading to a total spent of $372. As far as eating out, I did pay for Five Guys when my friend and I were moving. Paid $32.97 for the both of us there. It's really expensive to eat at Five Guys, really good, but man, it's expensive. As far as gas goes, we paid for 4 different times I filled up with $96.86 business credit from gas related to my business and additional income expenses. So $101.14 came out of my personal budget for gasoline. As far as health and maintenance, I went ahead and paid $400 for counseling. I ended up paying $734.63 to fix my truck. I mentioned it earlier, it broke down, something with the axle and the tire and all the things, and yeah, that was painful. That was a lot. And then I spent $25.42 on vitamins, just basic vitamins that we need, for a total of $1,160.05. Moving on to fun and other, I spent $3 on bus fare. This was when my truck broke down, to essentially get across to the other side to my car repairman and then back. So I saved a lot of money doing that rather than getting an Uber or a taxi, just because it was far enough that I didn't want to have to bike, and I biked to work on those days and back. I spent $33.91 on food for Jackson. $1 for the Neighbors at a Lemonade Stand. There was a community-wide garage sale, and they had a lemonade stand, and they were selling lemonade and cookies. So I spent $1 of that, and then I gave a $2 donation to the Veterans of Foreign Wars Foundation on Memorial Day weekend for a poppy. So that brought my fun and other to $39.91 spent there, and I did not spend anything on birthdays and holidays. So that brings all of my personal expenses to a whopping $3,256.68, over $700 more than what I was estimating because my truck broke down. So other than that, we were hitting pretty good there. Let's go ahead and take a look at my business expenses. So we have that internet 85-15% split between business and personal. So as far as business expenses, we took out $50 there. I didn't have anything for security or Bluehost or anything like that. For and during finances, I didn't have anything to maintain the website. As far as Holy Smokes photography fees, I spent $1.40 on just Etsy fees, keeping prints and other things up for sale, and then $21.31 in marketing. We didn't have any costs related to printing, shipping, or travel, bringing that total to $22.71. And then we're seeing that gas credit coming in. I track it on a separate spreadsheet between what the cost of gas is and how many miles I'm traveling, with all of the different ways that I'm making income, and deducting that so that it doesn't impact my personal expenses, if that makes sense. It's tracking different. So that brings my business expenses to $171.57. Let's go ahead and take a look at how much money I did make though. So as far as income, we have that $508 VA benefit that I am getting. That's 2023 rate. My part-time job, we earned a little bit of more money there. My boss was out sick a couple of days, and so I ended up picking up a little bit extra, bringing in $1,323.08. And then as far as enduring finances, I made $5.48 off of ads on my website. As far as hallucinatory photography, I made $2 on stock photos. And then as far as my additional income, which is where we're seeing a lot, the bulk of the money that I'm making, I made $370 doing dog sitting. Some of this was just like an evening, some of it was weekends, some of it was staying at the house. I have a couple of repeat clients that I spent literally 3 weekends at their house. Like almost every single weekend was at their house, taking care of their cats and dogs, which is great. I made $440 donating plasma. I jumped up my DoorDash and made $94.14. Again, Lime scooters, we had to make enough money to cover the breakdown for my truck. That was the goal. So I made $117 doing Lime scooters, and then $21 walking a dog, Bowser, who is adorable little loving big guy. Made $21 off of that, and then $159.77 off of Uber Eats. So we definitely kicked this up a little bit and got some dog sitting in the middle of that, bringing the total to $1,201.91, bringing my total income between all of these sources to $3,040.52. So let's go ahead and see how that put up with all of the expenses that I had. So if we look at the total breakdown, total expenses between business and personal was $3,428.25. The income was $3,040.52, taking a loss of $387.73. So that's where we have an emergency fund built up and different essentially savings that if we need to, we can dip in. That's what that emergency fund there is for, so that I can cover an emergency breakdown of my truck that's very expensive that I was not budgeting for, and not have to worry about paying my mortgage. So we took a loss there. I break it down between personal expenses and business expenses, just mainly for my own benefit there. But let's go ahead and jump into my investments really quick and see how we did there. So as far as investing returns, I made 1 cent off my high yield savings account. They have adjusted their rates and it has dropped drastically from what it was. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with that because, yeah, I'm not liking the rates anymore. And there's better companies that are giving higher rates with that. As far as my stock portfolio, I made $80.01 off dividends. I didn't do any stock trades and I didn't know any fees. As far as Lending Club, I made $5.37 off of principal, 83 cents off of interest, and 6 cents on fees, bringing a total gain to $6.14 for Lending Club. For my 403b retirement account, very similar to 401k, we took a loss of value of $301.59. And for my thrift savings plan, which is like the government's additional retirement saving, I lost $61.87. So during all of that total, we ended up losing $277.30 with 6 cents in fees total. So was not a great month, but I'm still happy to see dividend income coming in and being able to reinvest that into my portfolio to continue to increase my dividend yield. But I will do a video next week that breaks down all of the dividends that I earned for the month of May. So if you would like to check that out, please feel free to do that. I find it interesting to see the statistics and kind of compare and contrast where you're at with it. As far as sinking funds, we can jump over and look at that real quick. Didn't do anything for birthdays, Christmas. We spent a little bit more money on Jackson, so we can increase this year. Probably won't ever have these actually saved for at this rate. Feels like we're just getting by is what we're doing. We have $2,000 saved in the emergency fund. We want to get $12,000, so we're going to save $10,000 eventually. My AC unit, you know, that was the goal. That was the goal this month, was to save $500. Yeah, $500 for the AC unit. Well, it is going to be June and July and summer is going to be hot, and I am not going to reach my goal of $5,000 saved up before it gets hot to put in a new AC unit in my house. And so what I think I'm going to do, because I don't want to go into debt for it, I could go get a loan, I could go essentially get a credit card and put it on a credit card, I could buy a cheaper machine. So I think what I'm going to do is save up a reasonable amount of money and buy a used wall AC unit that I can plug in and get by for this summer, and plan for next year to put in a new AC unit and give myself an extended an extension on essentially on saving up on something that I want to be done right, instead of rushing through and going into debt to do it. So that's where I think I'm at with that. More to come. And then as far as trips, we are estimating $400 on that. We have $100 saved previously for trips, and then we have spent $106.57 total already on trips. So that wraps up my sinking funds. Let's go ahead and see how all of these different things impacted my net worth. So as far as my net worth, we're still seeing that market value estimation of my house at $367,800, and this is my assets, I should say. Your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, and the house that I am in right now is my biggest asset, coming in at $367,000. I have $500 cash on hand, $250 in my checking account, $100 in my savings account, $2,000 in my emergency fund, $74 in my lending club, which is a peer-to-peer investment account that essentially is closed down and is just dwindling down as the 3 loans that I have remaining are winding down, and so I will slowly see this decrease over time until it is eliminated from my portfolio completely. My stock portfolio jumped down to $29,277. My 403b jumped to $28,473, and my TSP jumped down to $13,846. As far as personal property, it stayed the same. My vehicle is still valued about $6,200, about $600 in furniture, $1,300 in gym equipment. Don't hate, appreciate. And then about $7,500 in other things, bringing my total assets to $457,920. And then the only liability that I have is the outstanding balance on my mortgage, which is now down to about $188,500. So we're slowly seeing that decrease down. It's amazing to see that happen over time, bringing all of those total assets and total liabilities to a positive net worth of $269,333, for a decrease of 0.33% in my net worth for the month of May. And we're seeing that primarily from my investment accounts. The stock market went down a little bit across the board, and because I ended up having to spend some of my savings on fixing my truck. But that is going to wrap up my net worth for the month of May and my budget breakdown and all the things. So I would love to have... So yeah, that's going to wrap things up for me as far as my update this month. Check in next week for my dividend breakdown and more information to come out later once I figure out my life. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!